Oh, so hello everyone. Hi there. And welcome to, I hope for you, a night of freshness, a night of sort of a sense of curiosity, um, of possibility in your practice and your meeting of yourself. I just think it's such a gift. This is the holiday season. Oh, wow. Well, you made it through Thanksgiving, and now you're in for it. It's the season of giving gifts and receiving gifts, and just to acknowledge for yourself and something that I always really appreciate and acknowledge in coming to practice, especially when it's with a group of us together, that there's just this, it's so sweet. There's something so profound that we would stop our lives and stop, in a sense, reaching outside of ourselves for happiness or fulfillment, or even clarity, and to do this radical thing that our society doesn't support very much, which is, it seems like all these commercials and everything are saying, oh, well, come out here and get this thing, and then you'll be happy and complete. And we're saying, no, in the midst of all of this kind of cultural conditioning, we're actually going to stop. We're going to not do. And we're not going to consume something, that's fed to us uh, through a game or a show or a program. We're actually going to turn the attention inward and find the gift that we already are. Um, and wow, it's right here. It's right at home. Um, so, in a sense, I just want to welcome everyone into this space and invite you to acknowledge, even if you come to a lot of sits and are maybe active with multiple groups and have been on lots of retreats and sit every day, religiously and all of that. You're here now, and this is this specific sort of special moment. So, hi, good to be with all of you. And I'm Bruce Pardoe. Um, I've been teaching with Mountain Stream for, I think, 13 years now. And I'm a community Dharma leader, trained by Spirit Rock. And, I get up here and I get to share every once in a while. And that's just, Marcia and I were talking about that just a few days ago, and what a blessing that is to enter this space, and to be in this. It's really an honor, because every time I come into this space with all of you, it's such a wonder, it's such a mystery as to what's going to happen. And so now we find ourselves, in this season, and recognizing that this is so many things for lots of different people. For some people, there really is this connection with the joy and the good feelings, the goodwill, the kindness, the generosity, that are emphasized in this season. And then there also can be, wow, this brings so much to the surface for a lot of us. And maybe feelings of, oh, I'm so busy, and what's the bother? This is so contrived, and I don't know why we have to go through this exercise and process. There can be feelings of, this is a time of connection and goodwill, but I'm not feeling that. I don't feel like I have the connections that I'd like to have in my life. I'm not feeling goodwill right now because maybe I'm frustrated about something or some things in my life. Maybe I'm taking stock of my life and I'm comparing myself to other people or comparing myself to an ideal of what I'd like to have in my life. And it's not measuring up. Um, and so there can be all kinds of different, um, energies and emotions and patterns, and there might be, some that are some that are just like yay happening at the same time, and in the next moment it's really challenging. So just to say that, tonight as we gather, this is going to be kind of interactive. We're all going to participate, I hope, or you're invited. Your participation is invited, and but that all of you is welcome here. You know, I mean, there from the perspective of inclusion. Um, of course, whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your background, whatever your, gender or sexual orientation or race or ethnicity or age or weight or hair color, all of that is welcome here. And then we want to take that even a step further and to say that all of you, internally is welcome here, whatever you might be feeling, whatever um, uh, joys or celebrations or um, traumas or pains or neuroses. It's all welcome here, all of you in this space, in this collective. And that's something that I think is, for me, um, it's kind of, it's not only beautiful, for me, I've found it necessary. Um, I feel very fortunate that I grew up in a loving family, but definitely in a in a more traditional environment where a message that I internalized was that, there were certain things that standards that I needed to meet um, to be worthy of love. Some things about school or things about manners or um, it was something that I didn't feel like, and of course we've all got to be able to at some level be harmonious with each other. So but there was something there's something so important for my life about knowing that when I come into a circle of Dharma, I'm coming into a circle of acceptance where kind of a an intention that we've set for our practice is really to show up for all of ourselves. So this is um, this is not something that we encounter on an ongoing basis. And again, it's something that I invite you, I encourage you to acknowledge it and recognize, oh, wow, I'm in this place where all of me is allowed to be here, no matter how lovely and wholesome, healthy those aspects may be, or how wounded those aspects may be. And of course, you know, it is a group and a circle, and we do need to have rules of the road of how we interact. Uh, um, but how often do you feel that sense of permission, not only in the group that you may be a part of, but permission within yourself? I think that's a big part of what I want to explore with you tonight is this permission within yourself, because so much of our practice is about we sit down, we shut up, we open up to what's emerging. There's verbal thoughts that are, we've got our eyes closed and we're sitting here and we're maybe following the breath, or maybe we're following the fullness of our experience in the moment, which includes thoughts and bodily sensations, images that pass through the mind, sounds. There can be tastes and smells. Uh, uh, it's it's all this kind of parade. And when we do this, it's kind of like we're creating a decompression chamber, and and we don't know what's under the hood necessarily that's going to come up and ask to be held in the light of our attention. When it's held in the light of our attention, that is an act of love. The highest form of love, often it's said, is attention itself. And certainly when you look at children, especially if they maybe come from a privileged background, maybe they've received lots of presents and schooling and da 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 da, and that may not lead to healthiness and well-being and ease of mind, peacefulness. What children seem to want the most of anything is just attention. So when we show up for ourselves, it can be, here I am, I'm just sitting here quietly trying to pay attention to the fullness of my moments. And then all of a sudden, something emerges that, maybe a memory of a time in my past when I did something that I feel now was, you know, um, harmful, that was, I betrayed somebody, or I embarrassed myself, I betrayed myself, I hurt myself, and it comes to the surface, and we're like, oof, oof, I don't want to, I don't want to feel that. Oh, what can I do to get away from that? I can't be a good person. There's a judgment that comes up, and there's an aversion. Not that, not that. I'm a bad person for having done that, or for feeling this, or for whatever's coming up in the moment. Or maybe we have something come up in the moment that feels um, uh, violent to ourselves or others, or I don't know, there's just so many things that can feel unacceptable, something that we can't accept about ourselves or our world, or and so there's this almost reflexive wanting to push it away, wanting to keep it at bay, and how can I maybe think my way out of this and figure it out and put that off to the side. And really, what that is, what this, in a sense, it's this gift of something that's unresolved within us, that's coming into the surface and saying, implicitly, if it had words, it's saying, could you please just hold me? Can you hold this wound? Can you hold this tenderness? Can you hold this embarrassment? Can you hold this uncomfortableness? And just allow it to be there, and to be held. It's kind of the way that an upset child, when they when they come to you, for those of you who are parents who have had the or who have had the gift of being with children, they're upset because they got frightened or skinned a knee, or somebody said something that they didn't like, or whatever the situation may be. And if you say to them, hey, it's not okay for you to feel the way that you feel. That's unacceptable. Get out of here. I don't ever want to see that again. Go to your room and pull yourself together. You're not allowed to be here until you're fixed up. Um, maybe the child will leave and go back to its room, but it's going to stay in there, and the wound is going to deepen. The um, the distress, the harm is going to intensify. But when you actually, when that child comes to you, and there's this sense of, of acceptance, of just being there, of just knowing, oh, this is an upset child, and this child needs, simply, I don't have to figure this out. I just simply have to be here and hold space, and in a sense, let the child borrow my um, my balance, my okayness, and I'm not going to rush anything. Here, sit on my lap. Just be right here. You're not going to take over the moment. I'm not going to give you the keys to the car, but it's okay for you to be how you are. And this is a very important point of practice. It's kind of like, all right, can we open to the truth of how we are in the moment without being overwhelmed by it, without collapsing into it, but holding space with it. And this is really what we're learning with mindfulness, and with this capacity to stay here and not get lost in what presents itself and then go hopping off on a train of association, but really to be here now with just what's arising, to not have to figure it out or put it in a box or rationalize it, but just to be with the truth and the rawness and maybe the ruggedness of, oh, wow, you know, this is painful. Or, oh, wow, this is beautiful. This is joyful. When we hold space with that which is arising, there is a spaciousness to that. Things that are wholesome and healthy tend to expand into that space and illuminate the qualities of that mindful attention that's meeting them, of the peacefulness, the openness, the clarity. Things that are challenging, that may have some uh, unhelpful aspects to them. They're not unhelpful in and of themselves. It's how we react and how we are with them. Really, they're presenting themselves in a way. It's like detoxifying. So they're presenting themselves in a way so that when they meet that spacious or that open, accepting attention, that there's contraction in them. There's some kind of tightness in them. And when they meet that open accepting, it's like, oh, wait, they begin to relax and unwind, possibly expand, soften, all on their own. And there's nothing that we have to do per se. It's just an act of sincerity and an act of presence, an act of authenticity of, all right, you know, um, in a sense, these are gifts. these are really gifts because behind their contraction lies freedom. So I wanted to kind of set the stage that, all of you is allowed here, and that the aspects that may be challenging or feel contracted are gifts, and that it's skillful and appropriate to give them permission to be here, that you're not wrong for whatever arises in your stream of life. That really where the choice point comes is in how we not just react, but respond to our lives and that which emerges in our lives. So what I want to do now is I think that we'll start with looking at what, is anybody feeling that there's some challenges to the season? Maybe there was something that was traumatic that happened during the holiday season or whatever. It just doesn't matter. If there was anything that was challenging or is challenging for you around the holiday seasons or this particular holiday season, we're going to look at that and have an opportunity for you to share that. And then we're also going to look at what are some of the things that you appreciate and enjoy, what feels natural about the holiday season. So it's kind of, really, again, it's the full spectrum. But let's start off, for anybody that would be willing to share, what feels, is there anybody who feels like there's something challenging about the holiday season for them? Would anyone be willing to share about that?
Virginia has her hand up.
Please, Virginia.
Hi,
Are you?
Bruce.
Hey,
It's so nice to,
Virginia.
yeah, I'm here. Yeah, my sound's not that great. Anyway, I really appreciate you inviting all of us into the circle. And that one of the challenging things at the moment is I've been that kind of started as a result of the holiday is spending time with my family in Chico, and then catching a cold from my grandson, and just not having the energy to get to kind of get excited about the holidays. And I have quite a number of family members to get gifts for, and it requires seems like a more energy than I have got right now. And the other thing I'm noticing is, with the rainy weather here, and, there's a natural impulse to go in and be still, yet the outer world is wanting to pull me out and get busy. So that there's an inherent challenge in that for me. So I really just want to crawl in my nest and just stay here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for sharing that. And that is, it's sweet. I'm glad. First of all, are you in the Nevada City area, Virginia?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you, Rain. I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
challenges the room. But yeah, it's
So
this.
good.
I think that one of the things that has definitely come up for me many times with the holidays is this feeling of, well, it's the holiday season, but I don't really feel into it. I feel kind of, excluded or not a part of, separate from, and that can be really challenging. that's a hard child to let in, for sure. Yeah. So thank you. And then just yeah, the what's like, oh, but the shoulds. There I should be out there doing all this stuff and connecting, and I'm getting pulled, but I actually want to be in my, I want to be in my cave or my den, all cuddled up. And I guess there was one teacher that said to me, one time, "Oh, Bruce, you don't ever want to should on yourself." Hard not to. Anyways, thank you, Virginia. I see Philip has his hand up.
And
Yeah,
so does Gwen. So does Gwen.
Who is first?
I think Gwen. I think
Okay.
that's the way. No? Okay. Whoever, whatever. I don't
well,
know.
I will bow to whomever was first, so
I
I will
think you
go,
might have been Philip. So why
I
don't you
will,
go ahead and then we'll hear from Gwen.
I
Thank
will
you.
go ahead. So I just want to offer what I'm feeling, and it's a new experience for me this time of year. I've generally been, well, my attitude has always been somewhat jokingly, although I know better, that I'm going to live forever. I don't have to think about it. And some in the Sangha know, I don't think you know, but I recently had a five-way coronary bypass.
Wow.
Yeah, out of the blue, almost no symptoms. And I went down for a little checkup, and they admitted me to the hospital and sent me off to a major center in the Sacramento area, and I ended up having a five-way bypass.
Wow.
So I am really feeling, and I'm going to be 74 next February, and I am feeling my mortality in a way that I never have before.
Hmm.
And what I'm noticing, and your talk tonight really helped me settle into it and really experience it. I'm really feeling, a bodily sadness and despondency, and really looking at, I'm approaching or in, to be honest, the fall or winter of my life. And it's not something I'm accustomed to think about or actually doing very well with. So that's kind of the space I'm holding and what I'm experiencing. And I just wanted to offer that up to you as part of the discussion for tonight.
Yeah. Wow, Philip. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and letting that be held in this place of community. And I can only imagine, that's a big thing. I know for myself, these things with the body, and the fragility of our bodies and our embodied existence. It's so, it is fragile. And then there's this thing of mortality. I know that, sometimes the fragility seems really, really scary. Sometimes it inspires also a sense of preciousness, a sense of, oh, I want to show up in the fullest way. And then sometimes it feels like it's almost, it's too much. How can I hold all of this? And so I just really want to acknowledge you and, the truth. It's, when we have a major surgery like that, I had one about 18 months ago after a bad accident. There's something that, there's a trauma to the body, and, it's a lot. So, I think, just really normalizing is something, that word is coming up for me right now, just normalizing the truth of you know, accepting the unacceptable, and normalizing whatever might come up around that. And that's the thing about this practice that is so at some level beautiful, but also rugged. And that is that we really are called into the fullness of meeting all that it is to be human, you know. So I'm so glad you're here, and so much love to you, Philip, and well wishes for continued healing and well-being.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. And Gwen, hi.
Hi, I had to unmute. Thank you. So the holiday season for me it's been busy. And I've just recently gone back to work full time, which is busy. And it's the slings and arrows of life. And the busier you are, the more there are, right? Because the more interactions you have. And so I've been feeling kind of overwhelmed with emotion and just like a ton of bricks on me. It's just too much. And what I've been doing is just checking out, putting on a show, playing a game, eating, not wanting to feel all this stuff. And so I knew I needed to attend the meditation tonight. That's what I needed. I needed to slow down and let things arise. What a difference in this, hour and 15 minutes. Just the relaxation, the softness has come back. So yeah, thank you. What an insight it was for me tonight to know that slowing down makes the difference. Slowing down. So thanks. And I'm so thankful for this Sangha.
Oh,
It's just amazing to have this kind of support and teaching. Thank you.
thank you, Gwen. Thank you. And, just what an honor to be a part of something that can support us together as a community, and support this. The term mindfulness is sati, and it literally means to put together, or when you put together, you're remembering. You're putting the members back together. So there's this reminding of, oh wait, in the midst of all of this stimulation, and my goodness, going back into full-time employment, what you've done is you've just increased the kind of the stimuli per second. So in a way, how could it not feel overwhelming? And these things are just nuts. I mean, really, I can feel how they can rewire my nervous system, and it's really, really powerful to remember, in a moment, that, oh wait, I'm driving to the next appointment, and even as I'm driving, there's maybe something that's at rest that I can connect with in my experience now. Just simple presence, that's receiving all of this experience in the moment. So I remember time when I have apartments, and a tenant had called me with an issue that a gas leak, and I thought their apartment was going to possibly explode. And and so I was like, oh my God, very difficult, very challenging to hold any kind of. I was really caught and lost into that. My attention had collapsed out of any spaciousness into identification with the craziness of the moment. And yet, as I was, as I was, feeling my heart racing and my breath being shallow and rapid, there were just these few moments where it was like a stone skipping on the surface of a lake, where I was like, touch mindfulness, oh, touch mindfulness, touch. And so I think, what I would love to invite for you is, just this, it's wonderful to be here together with community. And may that energy of community, the reminder of community last with you as you go through the new job, on top of the holiday season and everything that involved. And this is one of the things that I love so much about these protection cords. They're so put these on, maybe after a retreat, or it's just a little string you can tie on your wrist. And if you feel so inspired and inclined, you, Gwen, or any of us here together tonight, just putting a little string around your wrist, just to remind you, it's some little physical reminder that, oh, when I look at it, it's like, oh, my practice is here. Yes, I've got my hand on the steering wheel and I'm racing to that next meeting that I'm late for. Oh, there it is. The whole purpose of getting together here in community and sitting down and shutting up and closing our eyes and all of that is to cultivate something that then stays with us as we go through the rest of our lives. So I'm so glad you're here tonight, and may the residue of tonight stain you throughout the holiday season and for the rest of your life and many lifetimes to come. How could it not? Thank
Well,
you.
it's just this ongoing practice, isn't it?
It isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, we just keep remembering and remembering and remembering and remembering until it just starts sort of doing itself.
I look forward to that day.
Yeah, thee and me, sister. But I guess the good news is that it does feed on itself. And the way in which it feeds on itself is because it's enjoyable. And so that's a big part of it. And this is a great moment to sort of shift gears. We've got a few minutes here just to open it up to what you find enjoyable in this season. If somebody's got something they'd like to share about that. Because the beauty of the practice is also that when healthy, helpful, wholesome, lovely things arise, also showing up and remembering for that is it's a you have permission to do that. It's an appropriate thing to do. So so anybody got something that they enjoy about the season? Please, Cheryl, hi. We need you to, you got to unmute yourself.
Yes, I see that.
There we go.
Well, mine is sort of a bittersweet, sort of a backwards way of getting to what's enjoyable, perhaps. But I've found the holidays difficult for many years, for many reasons. And this December, I'm coming up on the 3rd anniversary of my husband's death on December 23rd. So I'm right there, you know, I can kind of feel it building up. And the practice is very, very helpful for me to just sit. I started doing it very consistently after he died, and it's been really kind of a lifesaver through the pandemic and through everything. But it has also it finally took, I think, this huge loss and huge grief has really given me permission to stop expecting so much of myself. I mean, I clearly am not going to be all about the holidays. I'm not going to be celebratory, and that's okay. I think for many years, part of why I didn't like the holidays is I did feel out of step, and I was kind of, I felt like I was role playing a lot to kind of go along with the expectations. And I've given all that up. Partly because I can't do it, and partly because I don't need to do it. And so, like I say, it's a backwards way of getting to what's enjoyable. But for me, it's been a big time of growth and a big time of recognizing that I can find in my own life and my own self things that are enjoyable and make me happy and fulfilled. And really just, it doesn't matter if I'm out of step with the rest of the world. I guess that's the way I would try to say it.
Well, I mean, wow, Cheryl, how many gifts, are you unpacking? And, just wanting to acknowledge the grief and the, condolences and that. I was so taken with a quote that I heard not too long ago. I forget where, but I think it's been used by quite a lot of people. It says, grief is the price we pay for love. Or grief is a reflection of the amount of love that we have felt. And so in that way, there is, I had a friend that did a video called The Gifts of Grief. But that being said, that you're acknowledging, and authentic with oh, wow, there is grief. And there is also this season, and it's okay for me to be exactly as I am, and that's hard because we're social beings. And so to not be in, what the perceived norm is, it just, there's a huge, that you said the word growth. So I'm happy for you with that. And, really, so thank you so much for being willing to share that. I think that's really profound and beautiful. And I'm noticing the time and that we have to wrap up. And but I want to invite, for all of us as we go through this season to, as Cheryl has mentioned, it's important to acknowledge and celebrate, or to be real with ourselves about, how we're progressing, how the practice is unfolding for us. And so, because it's through that acknowledgement, it's through that consolidation in a way, that we then move on in our practice, and in our lives, in our fullness and wholeness, and showing up to have a complete human life. So in the interest of that, I'm going to end. And Marcia, when I come to the end of it, when we're all happy may all beings be happy, then if you'll ring the bell. So we'll have just a moment of metta practice. This is loving kindness practice. And so first of all, just acknowledging yourself and the gift that you have given yourself to come and be here in community. You know, you care about yourself, you love yourself to whatever degree, or you would not have shown up. Something in you cared enough to show up for yourself, and really also to show up for your community. So this love, this well-wishing, this friendliness to yourself and others is inherent in just your presence here and now. What does that feel like? Is it okay to love yourself? Is it okay to want to love yourself? Is it okay to offer yourself the wish that you might be safe and at ease and experiencing well-being in your mind and body? That you love, is it okay to want to love yourself? And if this sense of friendliness and well-wishing to yourself resonates for you, is it something you can extend to the community and to the world? Can you feel the light of your goodness? And it's okay if you can't. You showed up already. You've already done what's important. You're here. That's an act of self-love. That's an act of love for the world, whether it feels true or not. And so with this intention and this wish towards well-being and kindness and friendliness towards all beings, and ourselves included, we wish that all beings everywhere might be truly, truly happy. Thank you for your attention, and may you have a lovely holiday season. And I'm sorry to have gone on so long. Please stay.
Jen,